Hi everyone, my name is Regina Romandetti, and for this week's video, I'm going to discuss the differences between freedom and liberty in early Western civilization. Although these terms of freedom and liberty are often used interchangeable today, they had different meanings throughout the development of Western civilization. In this presentation, I will use Aristotle's Politics and the Magna Carta to explain how these ideas changed from the ancient world to medieval period. I will also use the scholarly research of Moira Walsh and Jonathan Scott to provide historical context and explain why these sources are important. I would like to begin with Aristotle. Aristotle lived during the 4th century BC in ancient Greece, where citizens were expected to participate in public life and government. In politics, Aristotle explains that the purpose of the state is to promote the good life and help citizens develop virtue. For Aristotle, freedom did not simply mean doing whatever a person wanted. Instead, freedom meant living according to reason and developing moral virtue. He believed that a truly free person was someone who could govern themselves wisely and contribute to the common good in the world. Aristotle also argued that the law should guide people toward living virtuous lives because good laws help create good citizens. Moira Walsh explains that Aristotle understood freedom as something connected to moral responsibility rather than unlimited individual choice. Freedom required self-control, reason, and participation in the political community. Several communities later, the Magna Carta presented a different understanding of liberty. Signed in England in 1215, the document was created after King John was forced by his barons to accept limits on his authority. Unlike Aristotle's focus on virtue, the Magna Carta emphasized legal rights and protections. The very first clause states that the English church is to be free, and it also grants liberties to the freemen of England. Perhaps the most famous part of the document is Clause 29, which states that no freeman can be imprisoned, stripped of his rights, or punished except by a lawful judgment of his peers or by law of the land. This law was an important step in limiting the king's power and establishing the ideas that everyone, including the ruler, must follow the law. Jonathan Scott explains that ideas like these continue to develop through Western civilization. He notes that the concept of the Commonwealth was rooted in the classical ideas of Aristotle and Cicero, where government was expected to serve the public good rather than the interest of a single ruler. Scott also explains that later English political thinkers combined these classical ideas with Christian beliefs and constitutional traditions, helping shape later understandings of liberty and representative government. Although freedom and liberty are closely related, Aristotle and the Magna Carta approached them different. Aristotle viewed freedom as a moral self-government where individuals used reason and virtue to contribute to society. The Magna Carta, on the other hand, viewed liberty as protection under the law by limiting the power of government and protecting individual rights. Together, these ideas helped by the foundation for later Western political thought, constitutional government, and the freedoms and liberties that continue to influence democratic societies today. Thank you for watching.